pandemic has unfortunately, had extra stress on health systems, leaving physicians with less time to achieve that resilience. So what would you say they should do with the less time that they have?
You know, it's an interesting question. What do you do with less time? Well, if you and the second question is, do we really have less time right now? What's going on? I've talked to a number of physician groups around the country, and boy, if you're in the middle of the storm, okay, we're working with a group right now up in the middle of Queens in New York, and they are in the center of the storm. And yes, time is of the essence, and stresses are there. You're on constant hazmat emergency care. But the vast majority of physicians have seen a reduction in the amount of encounters that they're having and more flexibility in that. So they've actually ended up with more time in those areas. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing unless you're utilizing that time appropriately. But if you have less time, then it becomes really important that habits that are involved in self-care are built into the little amounts of time that you have. So mind-body practices, mindfulness-like practices. You know, in the old days, you might take a mind-body course and you'd go to 8 weeks and you would learn how to meditate 20 minutes every day and all that kind of stuff. You can't necessarily do that all the time, but what you can do is you can take some of those kinds of skills, and there's some of these on my website to help you do this in an efficient way. You can take a breath, you can take a perspective, you can create a mindfulness bubble if you've practiced it, okay? It's very easy to stay fit if you stay fit on small, regular activities, right? It's the same way with mental fitness. If you engage in periodic, small, 5-minute kind of mindfulness types of things, breathing exercises, that builds up areas in your frontal cortex that make it easier then to do that when you don't have time to try to do that. They've shown, for example, in the area of burnout, which this is about, that simply taking a few minutes at the end of every day and reflecting back on what has happened today that you are grateful for. What's something that gave you joy, that gave you connection, that you said, I loved this, or it was a wonderful connection, or this good thing happened to me, or I'm alive in those areas. Simply a 5 to 10 minute reflection every day can have marked impact on burnout if it's done regularly as part of a habit. So I would say the time issues is embedding it in your habits, taking it in small pieces, gratitude, breathing exercises, mindfulness, and then if you have more time, take advantage of those times to do the kinds of self-care, organizational things that you would do anyway.